The house looked ordinary. A quiet street, a neatly mowed lawn, a porch light glowing faintly in the cool night air. To the neighbors, nothing seemed unusual. But inside that house, detectives would soon uncover a story that made no sense. A story that began with a husband's calm assurance that his wife was simply asleep upstairs. But she wasn't, because at that very moment, her car had already been found. Abandoned, engine still running, phone on the seat, 200 miles away. How could she be both home in bed and gone? This was the paradox that turned a missing person report into a case filled with lies, contradictions, and chilling discoveries. At first, nothing seemed alarming. The husband's voice was steady, even casual, as he explained to police that his wife must have slipped out sometime in the night. He had last seen her lying in bed, her breathing soft and even. He insisted she was home when he drifted off to sleep. But investigators quickly learned she wasn't the type to just vanish. She had a routine. She worked at the same place for years, called her sister every morning, posted little updates on social media almost religiously. For her to disappear without a word was unthinkable. Then came the car, a discovery that shattered his story. Hours after he claimed she was home, a jogger stumbled across her vehicle parked in a remote pull-off near the edge of a state forest. The headlights were still on. The engine hummed faintly. Inside, her phone rested on the seat, unlocked, as if it had been abandoned mid-use. But there was no purse, no wallet, no trace of her. It was as if she had been swallowed whole by the night. Detectives turned their focus back to the husband. His story never wavered. He had stayed home all night, never leaving, never hearing her slip out. He had no idea why her car would be hundreds of miles away. But the cracks in his calm exterior began to show. Neighbors mentioned something strange. One had spotted him dragging heavy bags into the garage long after midnight. Another recalled hearing the low hum of a vacuum cleaner at 3 a.m., followed by the sharp, unmistakable scent of bleach wafting into the street. When investigators entered the home, they immediately sensed something was off. The air carried that faint chemical sting. Rugs had been freshly shampooed, furniture rearranged in ways that didn't quite make sense. And in one room, luminol testing revealed faint smears on the wall, smears invisible to the naked eye, but glowing bright under forensic light. The wife's friends painted a darker picture. She had been confiding in them for weeks, saying she was scared, that her husband had grown controlling, obsessive. She whispered that she was planning to leave him, and she even packed a small bag of essentials. But that bag was never found in her car. Instead, it was hidden. Detectives discovered it shoved behind a false panel in the basement, as though someone had deliberately prevented her escape. It was becoming clear, if she left the house, it wasn't by choice. The husband's phone records told another story. While he insisted he was home all night, cell tower pings revealed movement. His phone had traveled along the same highway that led straight to where her car was abandoned. The timeline matched almost perfectly. Confronted with this evidence, he stayed calm. Too calm. He dismissed the data as a mistake. He claimed he had simply misplaced his phone. But detectives knew better. And then, just when they thought the case was tightening around him, everything changed. A partial fingerprint was recovered from her phone, the phone left behind in the car. At first, investigators assumed it would confirm what they already knew. But it didn't belong to her. It didn't belong to him either. It belonged to someone else. Someone connected not to the husband, but to her. A coworker she'd grown close to in the months before her disappearance. A man she had confided in. A man who had suddenly quit his job and left town the same week she vanished. The discovery threw the entire investigation into chaos. Was her husband lying to cover his tracks? Or was he lying to cover someone else's? While detectives scrambled to piece it together, the husband made a move no one expected. He vanished, his car left behind, his wallet and ID still on the kitchen counter. His phone shut off for good. He had simply disappeared. Now the investigation spiraled into two mysteries. What happened to her, and where did he go? In the weeks that followed, investigators uncovered even more contradictions. Security footage surfaced of a man walking away from her abandoned car. of evidence that pointed in both directions. And then came the most chilling discovery yet. A blood-stained item of clothing, buried in a shallow ditch just miles from where her car was found. DNA confirmed it was hers, but mixed with it was his, the husband. The evidence seemed undeniable, but with him now vanished into the night, and with another man's fingerprints still unexplained, the truth was far from clear. The case left investigators with haunting questions. Did the husband orchestrate the perfect cover-up, planting her car miles away to throw off suspicion, only to slip away when police got too close? Or did someone else enter the picture? A man with secrets of his own, whose connection to her ran deeper than anyone knew. And most chilling of all, if she wasn't upstairs that night, and her car wasn't where it should have been, then where was she really? The answer detectives feared was buried somewhere between the lies. Because in this